Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Weekly Whining. I have a turkey on my shoulder, that's just how it works. We have a few things to discuss this time around, the least of which is my bad haircut and this little girl right here. So first things first, you know how when you make plans and then the universe hears you and decides that that something in your life needs to explode? Because that's what happened. My computer's hard drive is starting to go, it's starting to be really noisy, and please don't poke me in the eye. There's not a lot I can do about it, so there's been a delay on the patron stuff. I am not able to easily edit the things that I need to edit. That includes pictures and videos, things like that. So it's been about a week and a half I've been dealing with that. What are you looking at? For the time being, I have a pretty underpowered laptop that I'm working on, and very little access to, the files that I had on the computer that I was working on. So it will come out, it will be late, but you'll get the things that I owe you. Because of that, I'm currently in the market for an affordable HDD or SSD, so a hard disk drive or solid state drive that I can upgrade my poor computer with. She's about 10 years old and I've upgraded her as much as possible, except for the hard drive, and that's kind of where my problems are right now. Now that that's out of the way, I got a question on somewhere, in the email or somewhere, something like that. And I decided I'd go ahead and answer that. What are some of the things you like? Bish, I don't know you. You guys know about the taxidermy, you know about the bushcrafting stuff, the survivalist stuff, the naturalist stuff, right? But you may not know, or maybe you do, that I'm also kind of a weeaboo, or at least my history is as a weeaboo. That's a person who really likes Japanese culture, anime, manga, things like that. So basically, anything Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli, Gundam, Dragon Ball Z, love me some Dragon Ball Z. In general anime, like my favorite anime is Mushishi, which is sort of an obscure one, but it's really relaxing, it's really, really nice to watch. And it's not really limited to just anime. I like the Japanese culture as well. I like things made of bamboo, things to cook, like bamboo utensils. Other than anime things, I guess I like Star Trek. I don't like Star Wars very much, I'm sorry about that. And I like Rick and Morty, and just some cartoons, some general cartoon stuff. I like plushies because, transsexual or not, I guess I'm still a little girly sometimes. That's pretty much it. I don't know, honestly, I like about anything. I like bunnies, and I like birds. I'm not as much of a weeaboo as I used to be, but I still really appreciate the culture, I appreciate the food, and things like that. So that's a good segue into mail time. I don't know what to call it other than just mail time. Okay, so first up, grab it down here. This one is from Michelle. I don't want to mention your last name, I don't know if you want me to do that. She looked at my wish list and she saw how much of a weeaboo I was, and she's so kind to have supported my obsession with the culture. And she sent me some of this. This is haru matcha. Matcha is a type of drink. This is ceremonial grade, so I actually have only had 1 cup of this. It's a high quality, they use this stuff for the tea ceremonies? I want to say tea parties. Not tea parties, tea ceremonies. But yeah, it's this bright green stuff. See how pretty that is? The thing that's enabled me to actually have the matcha properly is another thing that she sent. This is a whisk, a matcha whisk. It's really neat. I've used it a couple times. Like I said, I kind of decided to do this really awkward opening thing after the fact. But it's been used a couple of times. It looks a bit in a rough shape, but it's supposed to look like that. These will eventually bloom out straight. This will bloom out too. But you use it for whisking. In addition to the whisk, it also came with these 2 scoops, little bamboo scoops. I love bamboo things, so that's good. This one is for the ceremony, this one is for stirring. I try on my wish list to be sort of pragmatic and only really put on things that I really need. And this is one of those things that I needed. These are chicken watering nipples, so they're going to come in really handy this summer. Maybe not so much in the winter, but they'll come in really handy, in the summer. And what the bird does is you screw this into a piece of pipe, and the water pressure closes it up, and then the bird comes up and they peck this, and it releases water. I've got some similar ones for rabbits right here that I can show you. This is one that I have for the rabbits. It's a pretty similar design. you set it like this, and the rabbit will come, and there's a little spring inside there, and when they push this down, the water comes out. And the same thing kind of happens with the chicken one. She also sent me these things. These are mosquito bits. If you have a mosquito problem like I do, you've noticed to live out in the middle of nowhere, and you have standing water all over the place, this will really help take care of those mosquitoes. It's not going to get rid of all of them. Specifically with these only last about 7 days. The discs will last a month, depending on, you know, your environment. But they're really, I love these. They make it so that whenever I walk outside in the summer, I'm not immediately carried away. You ever wanted to fly? Come to my land in the summer when I haven't treated for mosquitoes. And then finally, the last thing that she sent was this Instamorph. These are tiny little pellets that you heat up to, say, it's 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you heat these up, and then you can mold them with your fingers while they're still warm into whatever you need them to be. I've seen people do crafting, and they make unicorn horns with them. I've seen people make prosthetic fangs with them. So thank you very much, Michelle, for that stuff. The next box that I'm going to get into is from Jim. If you happen to know me through Yvonne Williams, her, you know, the channel. I used to live with her over the winter. I've got these. I got several of these, actually. These are not going to be how you sent them to me, Jim. I've already kind of put them into the tubes. But they're these empty tubes, which I really like these empty tubes. They hold, like, a lot of stuff. In the tubes are some beads, some red beads. He says these are bone from a Indian cow, or from cattle in India or something. So Bos indicus, the Indian cattle breed. Got a whole bunch of them. I don't know if these are necessarily bone or not, but I do like them. And then here's some black ones. And here's another. There's a whole bunch of them in here. I actually have no idea what to do with all of these, except to string them on something and make a decoration. He sent me some monkeys, which you might... Maybe I have them backwards. There we go. He sent me some monkeys, which I'm going to be putting up on my bookshelf, because I think they're cute. Is it a proverb? Is it from the Bible? I actually don't know. It's see no evil, hear no evil, speak... It's see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. He sent me some of these beads as well. These are sand beads. They're made by crushing glass and then putting them in a mold and firing them. So they actually are glass. They're made of just recycled glass, and he said that they're African sand beads. I don't know that they're necessarily made in Africa, but the style of it was invented in Africa. And then here's a few more beads. I've got them just kind of in the same thing. They're little horns. I think they're made of bone. But they're really neat. Little amulets. I love amulets like this, especially made of antler and bone and things. I really like antler and bone. And then here are some teeth. These are probably buffalo teeth. Cattle, the same ones that are used for the beads. I've gotten some of these before that were dyed dark brown, and they looked really cool. So those will be good for amulets. I may make some stuff and put it up on my Etsy shop. I'm really, as far as my Etsy shop is concerned, I'm really not sure what to do with it. I've alternately kind of considered shutting it down, and then I make something and I'm like, I should put it on my Etsy, but I'm not really good at keeping up with that kind of thing. I'd rather just sell direct, to be honest. Jim also sent me, and this goes with the bushcrafting stuff, he sent me some matches. And some, he's written fire starters on here. So these look like little pieces of compressed wood. I seem to remember having found some of this stuff in the ceiling of my trailer. It really is just compressed wood. See if that'll focus. And it takes a match really well, I imagine. I have not actually tried to make a fire of it. Let's try to make a fire. I have a feeling these are going to smolder. I don't think they're going to actually flame up. I don't know if they feel a little bit damp. We'll find out. Okay, so flip that. Let's see what happens. Oh, it actually took it really well. So these are going to be really, really useful to me, especially if I break them into littler pieces. I'm going to put several of these into my bushcrafting kit and see if I can't start a fire with a flint and steel. Because if I can just get this stuff and not have to make char cloth, that saves me all of the work. When I was a kid, I would read a bunch of books, and I like bushcrafting, as you know, and this was sort of in line with the culture, the Appalachian Ozarks culture that I'm in right now, and what I was raised in and how I was raised. So these books right here, these are the Foxfire books. There's 3 of them. It's a set. So Jim sent me this. He said that he had them kind of just on his shelf for a long time. I was reading the first one here just last week or whenever I got it, and it brought back a lot of memories of some of the old-timers I used to know and some of the stories they used to tell me, and you know, when I was a kid and watching people make things by hand, you know, the hide tanning, the wagon building, things like that. It is 2018 as of recording this, but in areas like where I'm at, and areas like Appalachia and other parts of the Ozarks, and in the Deep South in some respects, some of the old ways are still used. People still go out, they cut their own wood, and they have a wood stove, and they raise their own cattle, and I'm even doing it myself, raising my own birds and rabbits and things for food. And although I don't necessarily need it in the same way, some people still live that way. That's the only way that they know, and that's the only way they get through the winter. The area that I'm in is we'll say poverty-stricken. It's very low income. And I mean, even I right now am unemployed. By the grace of the internet, I'm able to have some small income, enough to feed the animals, if not necessarily pay my bills, but there are other people who don't have that luxury. These are going to be on my bookshelf, one of my prized book collections, so thank you for kind of accidentally fulfilling that childhood wish of mine to have these books. Thank you very much, Jim. And I think that's all actually from Jim today. So next one, I mentioned I really like Rick and Morty, and I really like reading comic books, because I'm classy. From, I think, I'm trying to get this right because I've already arranged them and I can't remember who sent exactly what, but from Bex. Bex, if you're still around, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while, but I did receive these. These are the anthologies of the Rick and Morty comics. So she sent me, I believe she sent me 3 and 5, and then Aiden, my more than friend Aiden, sent me number 4. There are 3 more left right now that I have to get my hands on, and I'll have a complete, at least up-to-date collection. But yeah, these are great. If you ever get a chance to read these, go online maybe and find them. The Rick and Morty comics are pretty incredible. They're really, really good. Thank you, Bex, and thank you, Aiden. Another thing Aiden sent, actually, I just saw these. He sent some treats that I've already opened for the bunnies, and some treats for the guinea pig, or the bunnies, whatever. I haven't gotten into these yet. Some of them like them. Some of the bunnies like these. Some of them don't. I know Jerky Wagon doesn't. I gave him half of one. He didn't care for it, but the one back here, who you can't see hiding, so Scoops back there. Scoops really liked it, and the Rex boy liked it and stuff. The guinea pig liked it. I gave the guinea pig the half. So Lemmy Winks, I gave Lemmy Winks the half that Jerky Wagon didn't eat. Smudge, I guess he liked his because it was gone. The last thing, I actually didn't receive this last week. I got this when I was still at Vaughn's house a few weeks ago now. Yeah, I guess it's been about 2 or 3 weeks now. She said that it came from Yvette. Yvette, I don't know if you're watching this, but I'm going to show people anyway. In here, in this box, see if I can get it out without cutting myself. Ooh. I haven't even opened it. I know what it is, but I haven't opened this one yet. Ooh. Oh, cool. Okay, so what we have here is okay, what we have here is a Beavercraft. I thought it was a Mora, but it's not a Mora. It is a Beavercraft spoon knife. A wood carving hook knife is what it says. And the way that this thing works, it's meant for making spoons and for bowls. And I'll use this thing. So the way that works is you can carve down into stuff, like so, and you can kind of slowly create a spoon shape. It's for, you know, this concave area of the spoon. I fully intend on doing something with this. I have been holding onto this without opening it until now because I didn't think I was going to be doing any kind of mail openings. I wasn't really expecting to get anything in the mail. But I did have this, and I finally found it after, you know, going through all the stuff that I packed. I finally unpacked. And yeah, so definitely gonna be doing something with that. I think this is a really cool thing. So thank you for that, really, Yvette, if you're watching this. And she actually sent a couple of other things. So there's my spoon knife. And this I have opened. I wasn't quite sure what it was when I first got it, but another Rick and Morty thing. Love me some Rick and Morty. I already had this one. This is a Council of Ricks pin. I used it for my Rick cosplay and for Halloween and things. But due to current events in the series, there's also a spoiler alert, by the way. There might be spoilers, too bad. There's also this one. This is a Council of Morty's pin. Or is it a Council of Morty's? Is it called something else? I'm not sure. Both of them on the back have a different number. So whenever you order these come from Amazon, I assume. When you order these, they come with their own number. If you watch the series, you'll know that each Rick and Morty has their own dimensional number. This is my Rick number. It's J20 Zeta 12. That's my Rick number. And then this one also says property of Rick Sanchez, but my Morty number is C314. So that's awesome. This one right here is going to be going on my Rick coat from now on until further development. Hope that I don't get content ID'd for whatever the hell that is over there. But yeah, I'm tickled to death to have those. I think they're really neat. The final thing that Yvette sent me is a book very much like the Foxfire book, something that I kind of fell in love with when I read it. It's this book. This is called Last Child in the Woods by Richard Love. I was introduced to this book a couple of years ago. I read it last year as part of my required reading when I was doing interpretation. So this is a book for naturalists. And it kind of discusses some of the ways that our attitudes towards nature have changed over the years. So this book sort of explores the culture that we have now, where we shut ourselves away from the natural world, and in particular, we shut our children away from the natural world so that they're inside most of the time, and you know, they become obsessed with the electronics. Not that I have any room to talk about that, but they're constantly looking at their phone, and they're looking at the computer screens and the television, and you know, they're inside in the air conditioning or the heat all the time, and how that affects their attitude towards the natural world whenever they get older. It's really poignant to me because I see these children whenever I go to the park and I'm teaching them about stuff in nature, where they're scared of a leaf on the ground. They're scared of when the wind blows too hard. They're scared of being out in the woods where it's quiet and there's no television and there's no air conditioning and there's bugs and all of this stuff. And you know, my generation, I was born in the 80s, we got to run around outside more or less unsupervised. I think we were one of the last generations that was allowed to do that because people got so overprotective of their children. I think it's a must-read for anybody who loves nature and has any interest whatsoever in child mental development and attitudes about, you know, the natural world, and why perhaps we might fail in leaving our children something wonderful, you know, in the future. But anyway, love that book, Last Child in the Woods. I will link it down in the description on Amazon if you would like to get a hold of it. Now that we've gone through our mail, I want to make something a little more clear. I had some comments from regretful people who wanted to send mail, but they were like, I can't send anything there, or I wish that I could send you mail, but I can't. I wish I could support you on Patreon, but I can't. Look, it's okay. I know how it is. Chi-Chi, stop. I know how it is. I am not even able to support people right now on Patreon. All that I can do is make a video, you know, honestly kind of trying to support myself. So yeah, if you want to send me mail, the address is in the description. If you can't send me mail, it's totally fine. Leave a comment. That's what the comment section's for. You're here on YouTube, so you obviously have a way of communicating electronically. Leave a comment. I don't care if it's hate mail. Just send it to me. I think that's all that I have today. Maybe not a lot of substance. Sorry about that. I didn't really expect to open mail. If I get any more mail on, you know, between now and the next time I make a video, I will be sure not to open it before I do it on camera. If you guys even like me doing this on camera. If you want it to be in a different video, then I can do that too. Or I can just not. I can just not do it at all. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, hate mail, proselytizing, interesting emojis, go ahead and leave them down there in the comments below. I read all of the comments. I try to reply to all of the comments if I'm able to. If it's something that I actually can reply to on camera, I will in the next weekly whining with the proper level of blood alcohol content, because I don't like to live my life this way. I don't like to be sober when I'm making these videos. It's very uncomfortable. Thank you so much for your patience with me. I'm doing the best that I can with the programs that I have. They're not my normal ones. Like, I don't even have Photoshop right now. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really like the video and you really like me and you want to see more of this ugly mug and my bad hair, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want to support this channel, if you're willing and you're able to support this channel, if you're not able, that's alright. Go down there to the description and check out my Patreon link for, you know, throw $1 my way. Just, or whatever, you know, throw a nice comment. You can just send me a message if you want to. You can also check out my Amazon affiliate links, my wish list, my Etsy that I am not sure that I want to keep, which is another thing entirely, my social media that I'm terrible at. Alternately, if you're sick of me and you're done looking at this this whole thing, then you can go and you can click that mystery link. It'll take you away from this channel to something completely different. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time, whenever that is. You're so cute. Remember being distracted by birds? I'm still distracted by a little bird. It's my fake wine.